Hey everybody, happy Friday. Just wanted to get a post in on this Friday. It took me a while to post this today. One, because I'm traveling again, but two, um, I really thought a lot about this week's events. There was another school shooting this week, and it just really feels like a letdown to see that we have kids hurting other kids right in our community just outside of Castle Rock, Colorado. And as I think about that school shooting, and I think about just kind of this Friday with Frary, I'm thinking about living a life of humility and service and giving back. And what if those were traits that we not only carried on in our own businesses or in our own life, but we really handed those down to our kids? I mean, I think that our culture, even though I work with influencers and I work with a lot of social media and a lot of very out there companies that are in your face. One thing that I think that we all need to be aware of is that this life isn't all about us. This life isn't all about, look at me and what have you done for me lately? And I think if we can hand this down to our kids, teach our kids that the real value in life is giving to others, living a life of being humble, knowing that life isn't all about just us. There's other humans on the planet. Just really not making as big of a deal about our own personal lives. If you sit and listen to people talk around the office, you listen to friends and family talk, we make the biggest deal out of nothing. It can be the smallest details that are so insignificant that we are making these massive stressful deals about. And if we're teaching our kids that what's going on here in our head is so important, you must listen to me, or I'm going to act out about this thing, then we're really doing a massive disservice. We have to get over ourselves. We have to realize that the world is much, much bigger. Take your kids traveling. Travel yourself. Get out there. See the rest of the world. See that there's different perspectives and there's different viewpoints. And definitely outside of America, even within America, there's people that are struggling much harder than we are. And so, how can we teach our kids? How can we teach the teenagers that are shooting up the schools that there is something much bigger than themselves and what's going on in their head? Those kids that shot up the school this week, they had one more week to graduate and they would have been able to carry on with the rest of their life. But they chose to go into that school and act out something that was going on in their head because of their, basically, in my opinion, their self-centered little pieces of what. And that self-centeredness and that being so wrapped up in our head needs to stop. And it can only really start with us. So the next time I start to make a big deal about something that's not a big deal, or you start to make something, into a big deal that's not a big deal, we need to stop and we need to see what we're modeling, and that everything is not urgent about us right now, so important. And just realize that we need to sit back and think, what could we do to help others? We put ourselves out there. We act humble. And we give our lives of service and we give first. That can only lead to good things. I just want to take a second and say we started to look at this in our own business as it's not about what we want in our business. It's about our clients. We live humbly to serve our clients, and we're here to be open and honest and as caring as possible about what our clients need. And so we're trying to reframe the way that we think about things, even at work. And so it takes one relationship at a time. And there's a phrase I'm going to borrow from my wife's family that gets used a lot, like, it's no big deal. And that's right. A lot of things are no big deal. And the bigger deal that we make about things that are no big deal, the more damage we're doing to those around us. And there's no need for all that stress. So anyway, I wanted to say happy Friday with Frary. Hope you get to have a better week next week. And I hope that we can all take it down a couple notches, teach our kids to relax, get outside themselves, and realize that the world doesn't have to be so hard. It doesn't have to be all up in here and made up in our head how hard it is. So anyway, live from Kentucky and beautiful Lexington. I'll see you guys next week.